Season 5 of The Score, the Team Roping Journal's podcast, where we cover the roping industry from top to bottom. This is where the team roping world talks. We talk through tough subjects, we talk big wins, and we talk real issues affecting the community. I'm your host and editor of the Team Roping Journal, Chelsea Schaefer.
Hey everyone, it's Jenna Link with a bonus episode of The Score. Casey Allen, the host of our sister podcast, The Breakaway Breakdown, is taking over today. Chelsea's in Texas right now shooting content for Ropin.com, so don't worry, she'll be back with another episode of The Score sometime next week. But on today's episode, Casey got to talk with Whitney DeSalvo as part of our Women in Rodeo Month. Whitney's the first ever woman to be classified as a number 8 healer. She's also a multiple-time WPRA World Champion healer, and she just finished out the 2022 Pro Rodeo regular season at number 14 in the Great Lakes Circuit Healer standings. So I hope you all enjoy this episode with Casey and Whitney, powered by Women in Rodeo Month and Durango.
It is Women in Rodeo Month, and we are working on wrapping that up. So, obviously, I got to call one of the greatest female team ropers that I know for that. And, you know, that's you. So, let's talk about you getting your start in team roping. Were there any challenges that you had to overcome specifically with being a woman and your roping? Because I know women have to rope differently than men just because of how we're built.
Right. Honestly, I don't ever remember. I mean, maybe just, I know I had to work a little bit harder at swinging a heel rope. I mean, strength-wise, but not really in the healing. I mean, I'm not really just a lanky person. I feel like I've always been able to handle my rope pretty good and be able to get everything I've wanted to accomplish so far up to this point.
That's awesome. How did you kind of get into the team roping community as a female? Did you have great mentors that helped you in, or did you just kind of show up like, what's up, guys?
No, well, I mean, everybody around me, like at home, does it, you know, for fun. And I know Lori and Brandon Thone have an indoor arena, like probably 30 minutes from my house, and they used to have team rope clinics over there. Like, they would get like Britt Buckus and I think Joel Gellerman and Britt did a school over there, and then like Michael Jones would do schools over there. And so they always brought a bunch of people over there to do schools at their place, and I think that's where like the first school I ever went to team rope was Britt Buckus' school. I think I ended up going to like 2 of them, so that's kind of how that started. But they all, I mean, everybody around there team ropes a little bit and stuff like that. So
I gotcha. Who was kind of your inspiration when you were getting into team roping?
Gosh, I don't know.
Or like your heroes. Like, who did you want to be when you were a little kid?
Well, whenever I first started, so like I always like really like looked up to, you know, Jackie and Lady, but I was still straight breakaway roper then. So whenever I'd go to their house, I would go to mainly to rope calves, but I would also get to heel steers. And then the more I stayed at their house and did both, I think I started gradually leaning towards the team roping a little more. So, but they helped me a lot with that too. Both of them did. But yeah, whenever I first showed up over there with them, I was like all excited, but that's what I wanted to do was breakaway. But then the more I went over there, the more I started roping steers more. And now I don't breakaway very much at all, ever.
That's awesome. At what point were you like, I could make a career out of this?
I guess when me, I I guess Hope and I went in 17, and we went on like a small all-girl heater. Like the last year that they had the wildfire at Salado, that whole year we won like four like major like all-girl jackpots. We won a bunch. I think that year I ended up winning like over 100,000 in mainly all-girl money, and I was like, man, this is easy, but this is gonna be fun. But it still is. I mean, obviously, I learned that it's not that easy all the time. But that's when I kind of decided that if I stuck with it, and kind of kept my head down and kept moving, that I could win and get along just fine at it.
Heck yeah. What do you feel like are some of the strengths that you have that have helped you get to this point in your career?
Well, I've always, for some reason, I guess because I always just had a rope in my hand, I've always been like really well. Even since I was a kid, like before I even roped steers, like I always handled my rope really good. Like I never, everybody always told me whenever I was younger that I handled my rope like a guy would. So I feel like that helped me a ton. Like I always had a lot of range, and I had a good swing from day one. I always had a lot of power on my rope. So I could always handle my rope. And I feel like that was one of the main strengths I had. That helped me up to a certain point with my roping.
I gotcha. Did you ever like model your style after any of the guys, or did you model your style kind of more after the girls? I tried to try to model it after all the girls that I thought roped good. And I'll never forget, like one time I was at Ladies roping steers, and I was just like picking her brain about stuff, and she was like, "You're gonna have to start going and roping with all these guys and that heel good, and pick their brain." She's like, "Because I've helped you as much as I can help you. Like you're gonna have to go." She's like, "You know, right now you and I's healing is about the same. So you need to go do something else. If you want to get better at it, you need to go somewhere else." And that's when she told me that, that's whenever I started watching them more. I mean, obviously I always watched them, but that's when I started, I guess, making some of those people my standard instead of just strictly basing it off the girls that I thought roped better than me at the time. I gotcha. Is your mentality more like, do you recognize that you're one of the greatest female ropers there is, or are you just focused on being one of the best overall?
Yeah, no, I don't really think about that very much. I just honestly compare it to just all ropers in general. Whenever people like talk about like the number thing or whatever, I can't think of it as just being the best girl, because how do I ever progress from there whenever that people say I'm the only one that's a number 8. So I need to look at the rest of the people around me that are the same number and compare myself to those people, and that's the only way I feel I'll get better.
Hey, you guys, we're so glad you joined us for Women in Rodeo Month. Women in Rodeo Month has been going on all throughout the month of September, and it is brought to you by the folks at Durango Boots. Durango Boots teamed up with the Team Roping Journal, Breakaway Roping Journal, and Barrel Racing Magazine to literally celebrate all of the amazing women of the sport of rodeo for an entire month, and it has not disappointed. There's been articles, podcasts, social media posts, and of course, right in the middle of it, thanks to the folks at Durango Boots, we get to celebrate the inaugural National Day of the Cowgirl celebration. Make sure you guys are checking out all of our content on teamropingjournal.com, breakawayrropingjournal.com, and Barrel Racing Magazine. And if you're in the market for a new pair of boots, check out durangoboots.com. Some of the best women in the industry are rocking their boots out there on the pro rodeo trail. Thanks again so much for joining us, and make sure you're hashtagging Women in Rodeo Month, and get ready for National Day of the Cowgirl next September 15th. What are some of those things you're working on, like right now, to help get to that next level?
Well, that's actually what I've been doing this week. I've been really struggling. So, like, this year, I rodeoed all year. Mm-hmm. And instead of, I less jackpots, more rodeo, and I've wanted to try that, and I really struggled at it. I kind of honestly my roping fell apart. But I've been working on, kind of staying the same discipline as I do jackpotting, because I feel like I do a pretty decent job at the jackpots. But then whenever I got to the rodeos, I would just almost like glaze over, my adrenaline would be moving, too fast, and I would kind of glaze over and run, and I'd do things just too fast, so out of control almost. And so I've been trying to work on slowing myself down and still learn how to go fast like I need to at that level, and that's my main thing that I've been working on so much here lately, is just that.
I gotcha. Is that something that you practice at high speeds, or is that something that goes back to your fundamentals?
Oh no, I feel like the only way, and that's what this week we're doing it. I ran more steers in 2 days than I usually run in a week, but that's what I was actually at Wesley Thorpe's house, and that's what he and I were talking about, was you have to do it at home and high speed every day. That way you can get used to it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, nothing prepares you more for something than by actually doing it over and over. So that's where I've been struggling, is I don't tend to go at that speed all the time, and so then when I see it at the rodeo, it kind of catches me off guard. But I've been trying to do it a lot this week, and just trying to see things, and it helps slow it down. In the long run, the more I do it faster pace, the more it's gonna end. I'm gonna get comfortable with it, and it'll start slowing down in my mind, and like the run will start coming to me and slowing down a little bit. But it hasn't yet, but hopefully it will soon, if I can just keep doing what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. And I know that you focus on your mental game a lot, your mental performance, and your physical fitness too. So have you been kind of working on those things more to balance it out?
Yeah, I mean, mentally more than anything here lately, it's just been, like you always hear on those, on all those guys, like whenever they do podcasts and stuff, they always talk about like how rodeoing is like the mental part of it's so hard, because you drive 12 hours somewhere, and then you run a steer, then you get in the truck, drive 6 more hours, you run another one, and then if you miss 2 in a row, and then those are your only 2 that weekend, you get in the truck, you drive 14 hours home, and then that's it. So there's a lot of time you sit there and think with yourself. So I've had a lot of time to work on the mental side of it. And I'm not saying that it's been good all summer either. It's exposed a lot of holes in my mindsets, but it's also been good for me to be able to see those weaknesses and try to work on them.
I getcha. Were you roping with Logan all year, or who were you roping with?
Yeah, I roped with Logan all year.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
So what are your plans for next year? Are you going to stick with the rodeos, or take a year and kind of jackpot more?
No, I think Logan and I are going to go again. But but we're also I think we're gonna do a little more jackpot than we did last year. I think we just focused just strictly on the rodeos, and I just don't think we can. I don't feel like we can do that. I feel like we need the jackpot still too.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we were giving ourselves too much downtime, and we were needing to, the weekends that we're not rodeoing, we need to keep the momentum going and still be fun jackpots to go to. So
I gotcha. And there's nothing wrong with like getting your confidence up a little at the jackpot before you go to the rodeo.
Oh yeah, and getting your money together. That's why I told him. I took a week or two off and I went to Cheyenne, and when I went to Cheyenne, I had a good week at Cheyenne. I won like $25,000 there. I told him, I was like, gosh, I said, we won more. I won more right there at Cheyenne and T Ropens that, won all year. Like, I put my money back together, and I know we didn't rodeo like hardcore. I mean, we went for like 2 months and we just tried to make circuit finals, and we ended up not getting that done. We were like 1 or 2 holes out of making circuit finals, and so we were kind of beat down about that. But yeah, it's hard to hold your money together if all you're worried about is the rodeos. I found that out pretty quickly.
Yeah, and was that like Logan's first year kind of out there too?
Yeah. I think that's the first year he's actually went and done that. I mean, he's amateur rodeoed. We both have. I mean, he's from over closer to Texarkana, so he always like UPR rodeoed and stuff. Not like super heavy, but he still went and he's rodeoed a little bit. And like we've went to like the Arkansas like amateur association. We made those finals, but it's nothing like those rodeos that we went to out there. They seemed to be. I mean, they were pretty similar, but it was just a different atmosphere, I mean.
And you're both figuring that mental out, like.
Yeah, and I mean, the mental side of, it's a lot easier to go to one an hour and a half, 2 hours down the road and miss one and drive home and get over it than it is to go drive 14 hours and miss one and then drive home. Like, the pressure's different, even though the rodeo's almost the same. I mean, it just puts a lot more heat on you than I thought he and I both realized it was gonna. But we learned a lot. If anything, we learned a ton. And that's what I'm kind of excited now about this year. I was a little bit beat down for a minute, but now the more I've thought about it, I was like, man, I'm really kind of excited to go now because we've learned all the do's and all the don'ts, and maybe not all of them, but a lot more than we had before we started. And we might have it a little more figured out than we did.
Yeah, I feel like it was a good growth year for you guys.
Both of us, for sure. And we got, thankfully, we aren't just going out there on one horse apiece. We both have, I have 2, he has 2, he has a young one coming up that's good. I finally got me a couple practice horses where I can take some heat off my good ones. And so we have a handful of horses now, so we can kind of be stacked for different situations and not be halfway through the summer and our horse be out of gas. So
what circuit are you guys going next year?
We're gonna go back to the Great Lakes. I think we're gonna go back up there. The weather's just so nice up there. Really.
Yeah, it's a lot easier than going to Florida back and forth too, southeast.
Well, yeah, and it's the same. We didn't realize it, but it's the only reason we didn't last year is because he's still in school, and that's when all the rodeos are going on. Is during the winter while they're still he's still in class and stuff, and so that's really the main reason why we didn't go to Florida. Well, then we figured out that Florida is pretty much the same distance from where he and I both live than it was to go to the Great Lakes. So yeah, the rodeos are a long ways away, but they're not. The distance isn't much different.
Okay. I get that.
We're not close to either one of them. But
what are your overarching goals in the next 5 years? Like, what would your dream 5 years look like? Or 10, take your pick.
Gosh dang.
I know, I'm
funny.
the worst.
that's exactly whenever I showed up to Wesley's house, that's exactly what he asked me was, he's like, what are your long-term goals right here? Like, what are we trying to accomplish? And really, like, honestly, the first thing that comes to mind is I would like to be a lot more competitive at, like, the open level jackpots and, like, the pro rodeos and stuff, you know. Like, first things first, I feel like for peace of mind, like, I feel like I really want, my main goal is to make / if, you know, if possibility, if the cards fall right, win the circuit, make the circuit finals, like, almost like prove to myself that I could do that. But you know, and then open level jackpots, especially be able to be competitive at them. And I'm really maybe almost too much of a realist when it comes to myself in those situations. Like, maybe to the point where I'll psych myself out of that stuff. But it kind of gave me some confidence after about day 2. I asked Wesley, I said, do you think my goals are realistic? Like, you think I'm capable of those goals, or are they just, you know, out of mind? And he said, honestly, I figured there would be more to your goals than just those 2 you told me. And he said, well, maybe there is, and you just aren't telling me. But he said, I really thought you'd have more than what you said. And so I'm like, okay, well, maybe I'm headed the right direction then. But
that's great. Do you think that, like, 14-year-old Whitney could have predicted any of this? Like, is it kind of crazy some days that you're at that level?
I mean, obviously, I obviously wanted to be like that, but I don't think I ever thought I would, you know, have I gotten to accomplish things I have so far and done the things I've done and been around the people, you know, that I've been around and gotten to befriend and everything like that. I mean, obviously it's a dream to get to be around the people that I've been lucky enough to be around. I get to rope against them and do these things, and, you know, people to think that I'm as good as they think I am. You know, I mean, I always thought, you know, that'd be awesome, but I never would have dreamed that I would have actually done it. I mean, I tried hard to do it, but I mean, I never thought in my head whenever I was younger that I was actually going to accomplish it, I guess.
Is your mom still just as geeked about everything?
Oh, man. She is. She loves to support me, which is, you know, that's awesome. I mean, if there ain't a person in the world that believes in me, there's one person right there that does. So that's always good to have in the back of your mind for sure. But yeah, no, she's awesome.
Heck yeah. So as far as, like, some of the historic greats of the world of team roping, who are some of the women that come to mind, like, from before even, you know, Jackie, Larry D? Like, who are some of the women that you're just like, man, they're awesome?
Oh,
or more recent ones.
Man, all right, man. I feel like, okay, so I always thought Bobby Williams, the Circle of Speed's mom, she was awesome. Like, she was still roping a little bit whenever I was a kid, like, old enough to remember to go to like whenever we go to the US finals and stuff. She's still healing a little bit, and then, you know, everybody told me she healed at the BFI and all this stuff, and I'm sure she did a lot more great things that don't come to mind right now, but, you know, she was awesome. And Tammy White, she's still ranked, and, you know, she made the short round at the BFI a couple times, and I think she was top 50 in the world one time, just rodeoing in California, if I can remember right. I mean, I feel like that's doing something. Like, that's legit. You know, and obviously Beverly, she placed it maybe not every open level roping in, like, her, like, when she was going hardcore, but, like, dang near all the best ones you could think of. You know, and that's hard. That's something you kind of gotta give them a lot of credit for. That's hard to do. Even then, I feel like, I know I know people say they're tougher now, but I feel like they were just as tough then. Maybe not as fast, but still tough. tough competition. So those are probably some of the three, or a few that I'd look up to for sure.
I gotcha. What's been your favorite run or favorite moment of your career so far?
Well, so most recent, me and Logan pretty much, we might not could make it again. I would like to hope we would at some point, but we kind of Hail Married one at Dodge City in the second round, and we placed in the second round at Dodge, and that's probably my favorite run.
That was a cool run.
Yeah, we both whenever we got back in the truck to leave, Logan was like, I honestly didn't know I could throw my rope that far, and I was like, yeah, I honestly didn't know I could do that either. So, but no, it was a good run. It was a good confidence boost because that was a pretty tough round, and the steers I felt were really tough there. You could tell by the times and the average that the steers were tough. But the steers were tough there. They were fresh and little, and they ran so hard, and it was just a cool run to me, right there, to be able to do that. And all those guys it's kind of towards the end of the summer, they're all trying to get as much money gathered up as they can because they're all trying to make sure they make the NFR, or they're on the outside looking in, and so they're coming with it, Mm-hmm. And for us to place right there was pretty sweet.
Heck yeah. All right, so little girl walks up to you at a rodeo, says, I want to be like you, been watching you, on social media. What do you tell that little girl? How does she get to where you are? Besides, being awesome.
She just keep your head down and just work. Main thing is be teachable, be coachable. Never feel bad or get your confidence down by, realizing you could be better. You know what I mean? Never let it beat you down that you could do something better than what you're doing now. I feel like that's the main thing is I know for me, whenever I was younger, I didn't take criticism very well. And whenever I realized that's what was going to make me better is to take the constructive criticism and build on it, that the people that were giving it to me were only trying to make me better. When I realized that, I felt like I shot up tremendously. So that's the main deal that sticks out to me for a younger kid is be teachable, and doors will fly open for you.
Heck yeah. And one thing too, watching the next generation of ropers come up, are there some girls that you're pretty excited to watch, or that you think there could be some cool things happening in the sport for women?
Oh yeah, for sure. There's some younger girls that rope good, and especially it's cool to watch them. It's cool to watch the girl healers now. From when I was probably around their age, and there used to be a handful of just really great girl healers, and then everybody else was just kind of doing it. Well, now there's even the young kids are getting there's a bunch of good girl healers for sure. I don't know how old she is, but Caitlin Torres swings her rope has a great heel swing. She throws great heel loops. There wasn't girls whenever I was her age, there wasn't girls heeling steers like that. She's gonna be Riley Smith, she does a really good job too. She has for a while. She'll be pretty dang hard to beat too. So that's why I'm trying to work and get better so I don't get my butt kicked.
Because they're coming up behind you.
They're coming up fast.
They saw you could do it, man. They're like, I gotta catch up.
Oh shoot! I don't know. I see them coming in pretty hot, so I'm trying to do what I can to stay competitive as long as I can at it.
Well, heck yeah, man. I know you got a lot going on today. You got to finish out your drive, so I will let you get going, and thanks for talking to me.
Yeah, thanks, Casey.
All right.
See ya.